All right, guys, welcome back to the Bar and Beyond channel. We're here with, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jake Bruce. I'm a YouTuber. I make ghost hunting videos. Funny enough, I used to do gym content, and then I met these guys in the gym, so it's pretty wild. But yeah, I just make ghost hunting videos on YouTube. Been doing that for 5 years now.
What got you into that?
Oh man, so my dad, instead of going to like the beach like Disney, he would take us to like historic battlefields and like haunted places. So we do like ghost tours and stuff, and I think it just like ingrained in my soul just like the love for the unknown, wanting to uncover the unknown. So yeah, just going to the battlefields as a kid just really walked that into my soul, I guess.
That's cool.
I feel like that shows like a lot as how much like growing up can like change your future, you know, because like if your dad would have never taken you to those historical areas or all that
Exactly.
stuff, it's like you'd probably not be where you are now, and I think that's something crazy.
Yeah.
But like, I guess one thing I really wanted to ask is, as you were getting started, what was your biggest struggle going through it?
I think honestly, so me and my brother started on the channel together actually, and we were both very young. He was 16 and I was 20.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got about your guys' age.
Yeah.
And especially for him because he was still in high school, dude. He was getting like bullied for starting it, and people were like making fun of him for like chasing his literal dream. And me not so much because I was already out of high school, so I didn't have to like deal with that beast. But definitely just overcoming that for him, and then all these years, man, especially in the beginning, we got so much hate from people that we thought were cool with us, that we thought were friends, and then also just random people we've never met. And so I think that, especially for him, was the hardest, was just to overcome all of the hate and the, just the uncalled for hate was definitely the hardest part.
Yeah, that's just something I wanted to kind of really pick up on, especially with us, like just starting is something we can try and learn from your past experiences, you know what I mean? So that's kind of something oh dude, don't tell me you got unplugged, bro. Lights aren't on. Fuck.
Did you get in?
Mine's on.
Your lights on?
Mine's on.
Is
you
it?
need, you need like
okay, it is
to-
on. Oh, yours just
Oh,
upside down.
Yeah.
Alright, we're good then.
Was there ever a moment where you thought like, maybe I'm not built for this, or like maybe this just isn't it?
You know what's funny? Like genuinely, I'm not joking. No, not for me at least. For Noah, definitely. Hence why like he left the channel. He's doing content on his own now. He's doing amazing actually. But for me, I remember the day that we shook hands, that we would like make this channel happen. We'd make it work no matter what. And something like clicked in my brain, and ever since then it's just been nonstop. Like this is it.
Yeah.
I've told everybody like there's no plan B. There's no backup. It's this or nothing. So for me, genuinely no. And I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense because beforehand, I never knew what I wanted to do. I went to college for like U.S. history and political science. So, you know, I was all over the place and I had no like dedication towards anything. And it's just wild that when we shook hands, like, I remember it was that moment, something just clicked. So honestly, no, there was never a moment where it was like, I'm not doing this. It's always been, I'm gonna do this.
So for you, like the power of belief is just like,
Yeah, and I think
like the biggest thing to you.
like my faith as well. Like that's something that for some reason a lot of people that do what I do, specifically ghost hunting, like they don't have that, which is really odd to me. But I think that faith, that like, I think that's what snapped honestly in my mind, was like this is like God's plan for me, was to like have this audience, and I made like this weird like promise with God, not weird, but I made a promise with God a long time ago where I was like, okay, if you make this work for me, like I'm gonna grind my ass off, I will make this work as well. And if you can just like back me up, God, I will use this for your good. Like I'm not gonna stray from your path. And obviously that I'm very aware that he could take it away at any time too. So I think that's another thing that keeps me going. But I think that faith and that belief in myself, and then also that God's backing me up, is what has kept me going.
How do you, because like this is something I've wondered, like how do you have discernment to what you're exposing yourself to? Because like it's a very thin line to toe between your faith and then what you're exploring.
Exactly, yeah. That's been something I've struggled with a lot, especially because I believe so fully that this is God's plan for me. And knowing that, like, I'm not really supposed to be doing this, you know what I mean? So It's like a weird line I've been struggling with it a lot. But I think recently, so in the past, my brother and I would take everything so unbelievably serious, and we would just go down these rabbit holes of, frankly, darkness. Like, we'd go to places where there's supposed to be like demonic entities and things, and we would just like, not that we wanted that, but that we wanted to like find proof of it. And originally it was in my mind that, you know, if we found proof of demons, then that could be proof for a lot of people that God exists. So that's the way I was looking at it. But then it started to get to him, it started to get to me a little bit. And so I took a step back, and he left the channel. I took a few months to like think about what I was doing, and I decided to approach it in a much more like, I guess, chill kind of way, where now I'm more so out there to like have fun and to maybe solve some type of like mystery, not so much communicate with like demons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it did lead us down a very dark path. Like Noah especially, man, he was in a bad place for a long time, and he's had stuff in like his childhood that he went through that was the cause of that. But I think like genuinely, like, I don't know, I'm sure you guys do believe in demons, but like it's real. Like there was times where things
to believe in God, you have to believe in the demonic.
Exactly. But like a lot of people think that we like, you know, because a lot of YouTubers like fake it for views and stuff. But like, dude, they're real. They're very real. There's a lot of times where he would be severely off after visiting a place for weeks, and we would have no idea why. And then when we thought about it, it was like, oh, probably because we went to this place and like came into contact with something dark. You know what I mean? Right. So I think now, like, I've built a wall of separation between me and that, and I think that's helped a lot. It just helps so much.
Has there ever been a place where you've gone where you feel like conviction almost, where you're like, maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I shouldn't go in here, or even afterwards, like, you know, maybe that wasn't such a great idea?
Yeah, not so much a location, but like the past year. So like we were always very weird about like divination thing, like Ouija boards and stuff. It's like we'll use like ghosting equipment, but when it comes to Ouija boards, that's like we used to draw the line, and then we started to do them because, you know, everybody played Ouija boards, so we're like, okay, bet, like we'll do that. And I think over time we just started to realize that like there's definitely something to them when you're opening yourself up in that way, where it's not just like if I were to hold out a recorder and say like, hey, can something or someone speak into this? It was like your hands on a planchette and you're asking it to physically move it. And I thought they were fake. I genuinely. So I just was like, okay, well, sure, whatever. And I broke down that barrier I had built. So we started to play them. And one of the crazy encounters that we had, and I'm being dead serious when I say this, it was right in the beginning. We went to a mansion and we played a Ouija board. And the guy we were playing with went off the rails. He was like, anything that's here, like even the dark stuff, like come out and like attack us. And I was like, whoa, bro. So we stopped. We stopped playing. And my brother developed sleep apnea. At 16 years old, he developed sleep apnea. And he had never had it before, but ever since then, he would like wake up choking. Like, you know what sleep apnea is, where you can't breathe when you sleep? Yeah. He developed that at 16. Usually it's like 40, in your 40s or 50s when you develop that. And so that was one of those moments where we were like, okay, let's take a step back. And that was when I felt like the conviction to just like stop. And so I don't do those anymore. I do not play Ouija boards or even like any like weird like witchy stuff like tarot. I'm just not a fan of it.
I don't blame you at all.
Yeah.
And earlier you pointed on how like not many people in your line of work, like ghost hunting and stuff, are faithful, but you obviously are. I was wondering, like, is there something that makes your content feel different and the way you do it different between the people who aren't faithful?
A lot of the people that aren't faithful, they're the ones that will go like full force into like the demonic stuff because they think that's where the views are and where the audience wants them to go. But for me, I think since I've taken a step back and number one, gained like a more skeptical view on things, because I've seen a lot of people that have faked and a lot of things that, like, you know, I said that I used to take things super serious. So somebody would tell me a story and I would just take it at face value and run with it, which is what a lot of people do that don't have faith. But I think since I've grown in my faith and since I took that step back and built that wall up between me and the dark stuff, I think it's really helped, number one, grow an audience, because there's a lot of people that like aren't so sure about the paranormal, but like they're halfway there, and that's where I'm at now, where it's like there's definitely something there. Like demons are obviously real, right, but at the same time walking the line where there's that wall built up between me and communicating with that. But I think a lot of people that don't have faith, I found them to be like very angry all the time. Like they're so angry and like down in the dumps, and their life, it just gets filled with darkness no matter how hard they fight it.
Yeah.
And it's like they're missing one piece of the puzzle, you know what I mean? And
Right.
and they have no idea what it is. But it's, from me looking at it, I'm like, you're missing God, you're missing faith. That's what you're missing.
Right. Is there any like one time, like obviously you don't fake your videos, but is there any like one time like maybe you went somewhere and were hoping for some real good content, didn't get much, and like you thought about faking or anything just to like maybe produce something because you weren't getting much?
Not really. What I will say though is like back then in the beginning, we took ourselves so seriously. It's not that we like faked, but we were so far into it that we were like so overblown in our reactions to everything. And I think since taking a step back, number one, I've realized that like everybody does that. Like everyone, you know, they'll have like one little thing happen that, whoa, my God. Which, and back then too, we had a phobia. Like it was a genuine phobia of ghosts. That's why we started. So that was obviously part of it, but no, genuinely there's never been a time where I'm like, I should fake, especially recently, because the way I like format my videos where I'm solving a mystery, even if I don't get anything, it's still good for the video because
Right.
it just showcases that maybe there's nothing there. Maybe the
Right.
story was fake. Whereas a lot of people, they do what I used to do and take everything at face value. So if they get nothing, it's a bad video.
Yeah.
So I've tried to make it more about like me and my personality rather than I have to capture something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's amazing because that's like we were kind of talking about it at the gym. Like you have to have your niche and like all that, and like show who you truly are through the videos. And I think that shows a lot. Like that you're just showing like you're truly seeing. You know, and that
Yeah.
I think that means a lot through your videos. And is there anything like you do in your videos to try and? Because obviously there's gonna be people out there that believe it's fake no matter what. Is there anything you specifically do in your videos to like make people know it's real?
I think just the way I come off now, the way I've done videos for the past year or so, I really switched it up from what I used to do. There's not really anything I do. I guess just, you know, if something has a logical explanation, like going into it, because I used to either just like not even try to debunk anything or give it a logical explanation, or I would just like ignore it. If that makes sense. Like even if I thought it might be the wind, I'd just be like, oh no, it's a ghost. Like I know it is. But now like I don't know if it's my frontal lobe developed or whatever. I have no clue, bro. I have no idea. But it's just like if there's something that's BS, I'll call it out for being BS. And I think people have really appreciated
Yeah,
that.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and like, you know, my video's been doing 50 million times better the last like 5 months or so. And I think that's a big reason why, because people see that like, oh, this is like real and like I can relate to this. It's not somebody that's just going off the freaking rails, you know, going crazy at these places.
Yeah, and I think a lot that matters in your line of work is kind of just like showing the fails and the success. You know, I think
Yeah.
that helps with the believers out there and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And I think at the end it helps like my one mission, which is like genuinely either through my videos and or through my personality, like just online outside of the videos, bringing people to God. Because I think if they can trust me in what I'm producing and making for them and showing them, they're gonna, you know, maybe take my word when I, you know, throw a Bible verse in my story, or I mention God in a video, or, you know, I wear this cross necklace all the time on every single video, no matter what. And I think my goal and I think my purpose with God is to like have that platform to like build His kingdom. That's just genuinely what I believe.
Yeah, 100%. What is Jake Bruce's faith mean to him? Like, how has God really shaped you into the man that you are today?
I think I was raised Christian by my mom and my dad. And, you know, a lot of people are just like, well, you just believe because your parents believe. But, man, there were times where I was damn near atheist. Like, there was times where, and there even still is now, where, you know, we all question as Christians, like, is this true? Like, is God real? Even if it's just a quick little moment that comes in passing. But it's been a real journey for me, and I've been on both ends of it, where I'm, like I said, an atheist, basically. I wasn't fully there, but I was, like, going down that path. And then there's been times where it's, like, very clear to me, for whatever reason, that, like, no doubt God exists. But I think the biggest thing that I can think of is just, like, number one, how blessed I am to have this platform. And, dude, it would not, this is my full-time job. I get to travel, support me and my girlfriend and our little family and everything. And then that would not exist if it wasn't for God and for my faith in God, even in those times where I was like borderline, being pulled away from Him. But more so, and the reason why I really believe that my faith is the cornerstone of my platform, my brand, my everything, is because my whole life, even in middle school, like I remember my friends, they would just be like different around me. So I had a lot of friends that were like into drugs and stuff because of where I lived in Huntington, and around me they were not that. Around me they would ask me about God, even though I wasn't like openly like talking about God. So I've always thought that was odd, but I would just tell them, and I was really good at like telling them like who God is and like what direction they should go into. That even happened with a couple exes of mine, including Lex, my current girlfriend. When I met her, she didn't believe in God. She had grown up Catholic, went away from the faith for like 2 years, and not me, but God through me brought her back. And so I think what my faith means to me is, number one, that belief that God has been with me through all the ups and downs. And number two, I truly believe that I am here to bring people to Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
so I think,
100%.
and without that, I would not be here. I would have nothing.
100%. What are your hopes for your channel? Like, obviously, I would love to be in your position. I would love to do
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
full time. I think that anyone would love to be in your position. But what are your
Yeah.
hopes for yourself? What are your dreams?
Dude, it seems like I remember doing a podcast a long time ago, like a smaller one, where they asked me the same thing. And this is when Noah was still in high school. I had a full-time job at some farming company. And I told them that my one goal is to be able to travel for free. That was it. If I could do that, I'd be happy. And then I did that. And then it was like, okay, now I don't want to just do that. I want to be full-time. So boom, now I'm full-time. And then now it's, I'm full-time, and that's great. But now it's like, okay, what's the next? There's always another step, but maximum expectation, I want to be at like 10 million subs, massive audience, like merch, the whole 9 yards. Like, that's where I want to be. And again, I genuinely believe that I will get there. And it's not like an ego thing. It's just like, I actually believe that God has His hand on what I'm doing. And like I said earlier, but because of that, I'm also very aware that at any moment it could all evaporate into thin air and He could take it from me. So, yeah, I just believe that if I keep working, and that if God has His hand on what I'm doing and He's in support of this, and I'm actually keeping my promise and like bringing people to Him through my content, I don't think there's an end. You know what I mean? I think there's just maximum possibility. But long story short, I would like to have a massive audience that I could, like, number one, make videos for, be full time, support my family, my siblings, help people out. That's what I want to do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think you can reach that. Like, I agree. You've made it so far, and I feel like it's only up from here. You're going to have your struggles. Obviously, everybody does. But as long as you get through them, I feel like you've obviously gone through a lot of struggles, so you probably know better on how to. Obviously, you're still going to struggle and everything, but it's always up from where you're going, Like, we're just starting, but it's still going to be going up from here,
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is, like, dude, it's so cliche, but, like, I guess this is more so for you guys, like, starting off. What people say is true. Like, it really is. When you look back, it really is about the journey. And when you look back, you don't really think about all the nights where you're like sleep deprived editing or filming or stressing about money or anything. You just think about the fun things that you did and like the journey you took to get here. And so I think like just enjoying the journey, and like you also have to have a true passion for what you do. And if you don't, there's no point in pursuing it any further. But if you do have that passion and, in my opinion, have the belief in God and that faith, you can go anywhere.
Right.
Like 1,000% certain you can go anywhere.
I agree. And with this being full time for you, like, how do you manage your YouTube life, editing videos, working on videos, going somewhere, and then your personal life?
Dude, it sucks. It's hard. It's really hard. I tell people, like, that's the other thing that I heard at the beginning, but I was like, oh, that's not true. Like, that can't be true. But people say, like, when you own a business and you work for yourself, you go from working a 9 to 5 to working 24/7. It's so true. I'm never off the clock. ever. I'm always like, whether it's checking stats or like I just signed to a management company, so I have to check in with them, doing things that they asked me to do. Editing, I've been editing all day since I woke up today, and I'm gonna do it again when I go back home. It is nonstop. So I do not have a good work-life balance. But essentially I try to work as hard as I can, and as long as I can make time for my family and my girlfriend, I'm good. Right. Like my friends, like I obviously check in with them, but we don't hang out as much as we used to, and like they're cool with that, you know, and I'm cool with that, and it just makes when we hang out that more special. But there are sacrifices you have to make. Like I don't go out, I don't hang out with friends that often. It's like once a month, if that. There's plenty of nights where I wish I could go to bed with Lex, my girlfriend, or hang out with her, and I can't because I have to edit, I have to do something. But it is important to have at least what we've worked on is she gets like 1 day off a week from work. So that day, whatever it is, since I make my own schedule basically, that's the day for us. And that has helped so much because for a while it was hard. In fact, I was dating somebody before her that I was like certain would work out, and it didn't work out because of what I do. She couldn't handle it, and like, you know, more power to her. Like I wouldn't want to be with somebody who's working 24/7 necessarily either. So I get it, but I made a lot of sacrifices in my personal life, from that to time with friends, time with family. So I don't know if that's the best example of what to do, but that's what I've done. Is it's just like work, and then make sure I have time for the people that are most important.
Right.
Yeah.
And going through that, like working so often, do you think like the sacrifice and not being able to see family as much, friends, your girlfriend, all this, like as much as it sucks, do you find it worth it in the long run? Do you think that's why you are where you are right now?
Yeah, because that's another thing is, you know, high school, college era, and I think a lot of men go through this. I think a lot of guys go through this specifically when they're like your guys' age, where you're like lost and you don't feel like there's like you don't feel like you have meaning in your life. I went through that especially when I went to college. Like I knew it wasn't for me, and I was there anyways for a whole year. Dude, I was miserable. I freaking hated it. And then coming out of high school too, before college, I remember being petrified of like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, I got to get married, I got to do this, and what am I going to do for a job? Like, I don't want to do any of these things that people say I should do. Like, what am I going to do? But I think this has given me so much meaning in my life, and like having something as a guy to work towards every single day. I truly believe that having something to work towards every day, belief in God, in the gym, can genuinely heal anything. Like any, obviously not physical, but any like, well, sometimes physical, but any mental funk you're in, like I think even depression, like I believe if you give your life to God, work for something every single day, and take care of your body, I think that can solve about anything. So yeah, it's 100% worth it. And I also, again, because I see that potential in the long run, I know that time, you know, once I can get somebody to edit my videos, and now that I have this management company, that takes a lot of pressure off of me because they're handling a lot of stuff for me that I used to do. And once I have somebody to, you know, help do thumbnail, like, you know, the more people that I can get on my team in the future, the more time that I'll have to myself. So I see, and then I'll also have money to where not that it's all about money, but you know, obviously that's the goal.
Right.
That's obviously the goal. Like I want to have money to support Lex, support a family, support my parents, help them retire. Like that's genuinely my goal. Help my sister go through college because she's going to go to college. So yeah, I think it's all 100% worth it in order to reach that end goal and to help myself mentally.
Yeah. You talk about family a lot.
Yeah.
What does family mean to you?
Oh man. I mean, without my family, I'm not where I am today. Not only because they took me to the places that has led to what I'm doing, but also because, I mean, dude, I've seen it with a lot of my friends that do content or that have chased a dream where their family just shoots them down day after day after day. And I don't even know how to relate to that because that's never once been even a question in my family. So my family is everything to me. Like without them, without the people around me, I don't have this. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I want people to understand too, is like, yes, I put in a lot of work, but without God, without family, without my friends all supporting me in tandem, without Lex supporting me, I can't do this. And I've seen a lot of people whose family and friends and significant others don't support what they do, like whatsoever. And it doesn't end well for them, like because they don't have that support system, and then they end up giving up on their dreams and become semi-depressed or work at a factory, and they're maybe not depressed, but they're not as happy as they would have been. So yeah, man, my family, I don't know how to put it into like a single word, but they mean everything to me, dude. Without them, I don't have this.
Yeah, 100%. If you could go back and tell a young Jake Cruz anything, what would it be?
Oh man, bro, these are so good. The funny answer is I would just tell him to be a ghost hunter, because you know I grew up, I wanted to be a conservationist, Steve Irwin, crocodile hunter.
Yeah.
I used to want to be like Steve Irwin, then I used to want to be like Bear Grylls, and then an astronaut, like all these things, and like I don't know why. I think it's just who I am. Like I'm a major overthinker, and I've always been that way, even when I was a kid. So I would overthink about like what am I gonna do when I get older? Like what's my job gonna be? Like oh, how am I gonna make this work so I can be like my parents and like have a job and kids? And I would just stress myself out even as a kid. So I think like it's kind of a funny answer, but I would genuinely go back and be like, yo, just be a YouTuber. Like start a little bit earlier. Like you'll be good. Like go do that. But in reality, I would just like remind him what I know now, which is like everything works out. Like put your mind to something, trust in God, you have your family behind you, like it will be okay. Like you'll be good. Especially because like, we weren't like rich and like lived the best life, but like I was a lot better off than a lot of people. But yeah, I was stressing as if I had like literally no support, no nothing. So I think I would just tell him like, yo, chill out, like everything's gonna be good.
Yeah. You talked about that overthinking. I would say for me personally, I'm a big overthinker. I
Same,
overthink
bro.
So
my
am I.
next step, the step next,
Yep.
the step 20 steps down the road.
Same,
And
bro.
so what helped you kind of break out of that? Break out of like, obviously you do YouTube full time, but at the same time, like those emotions and experiences, like I would say everyone goes through it.
Yeah.
So what has helped you break out of that kind of cycle of overthinking and not thinking 20 steps ahead and just being present?
I mean, there's a lot of small things. I still do it. I'm still very bad at it. It sounds silly, but just like since I've had some success in the last few months, it's helped me to calm down, which is really not something you should lean on, because you need to stop overthinking before you get to that, theoretically. That's the better way to go about it. But I think little things, like I said earlier, the gym. Like genuinely going to the gym has helped so much with just confidence in general, not just with like, oh, I look good, like I'm active, but like also mentally. It's giving me mental clarity. So the gym is very important, dude. I've tried. My brother will not go to the gym. He's like, I've told him so many times, like, dude, I promise you, it will help so much. But genuinely, the gym is the biggest thing for me that's helped. Another thing I've started, I tried to do it a while ago, and literally just last night, I ordered like a really nice like journal from this company that makes like different, basically it's like customizable journal type thing. So I'm going to start doing that for like to-do lists and like different things like that. So I would say that journaling has helped. I've done it on like my phone and up until now, whenever that thing comes in, but just getting thoughts out on paper, to-do lists, I do those every day, especially because, dude, I will not go up to sleep because I'll be thinking about everything I have to do tomorrow. It's so bad. So I'll just do a to-do list, put every single little thing on there, and then as the day goes through, check it all off. That has helped a lot. So to-do list, gym, prayer, like genuinely just praying to God. A lot of times I struggle to get to sleep, like I just said, and another thing that helps is I'll just pray. And it sounds bad, but I will literally pray until I fall asleep. I'll just talk to God about tomorrow and, different people I'm praying for, and like asking for help or asking for, whatever it is, and like just communicating with them. And it's helped me sleep. It's helped me calm down. Just that thought that there's something out there that has a plan, and God has a plan, and like it's not up to me. And so one thing I've really tried doing recently, this has only been the last like few months where I've gotten super serious about it, but it's just genuinely been giving certain aspects of my life to God. So like, dude, I would stress out about things in my relationship, really bad, and you know, like little, just dumb stuff. Even though like Lex is the best thing that's ever happened to me, but I'd stress about what if she leaves me randomly one day and I lose the cats in my home? What if she does this thing, or what if I'm not good enough? But I've just given that to God. Like, whatever happens, God's got me. You know, I've been through things like that before, and I'm okay. I think that's been the biggest thing, honestly, especially recently. And what's crazy is, talk about God's plan. Since I've done that, everything that I've done with my content started to do better. Like more views, more engagement, like growing my platform, signing to this management company, which is going to help tremendously. Ever since I just gave it to God, that's all exponentially grown. So, I mean, that's a testament to the power of God.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing, dude. So obviously, like, I feel like everybody gets like hate comments and all this. So like the hate comments you've gotten, have those like really like mentally like brought you down while trying to make a channel, almost made you want to quit? Or, like how have those affected you, and how have you dealt with the hate comments?
My brother, they really got to him, and like they'll occasionally get to me. I'm like, I'll be like, what's weird is they've never bothered me to the point that I've seen some people like, dude, there's even creators that have like millions of followers. They do this full time and are like genuinely like rich, like genuinely, and they get so freaking butthurt over the little hate comments. And when I see that, I'm just like, there's no way this guy's happy. Like, there's absolutely no way, even though he has all this money, because it shouldn't bother you. But it does. It does occasionally. I just try to like deal with it internally and not publicly, if that makes sense. Which I think is a better way to go about it. My brother, they affected him pretty bad for a while, which was like one of the reasons why he left the channel. Not the biggest one. It was definitely down there on the list, but it was one of. But man, dude, it's gotten to the point recently, not recently, but like maybe a year ago, and some this year, where I've questioned with my buddy Clayton, who does content too, because he's like wrapped in with me and my brother Noah, and we get like hate from the same people. And it's gotten to the point where I've questioned, like, is it because we're Christians? Like, is it because there's no other reason? Like, we've been nice to everybody, we mind our own business, we don't cause anything. So it's gone to the point where I'm like, bro, is it because of my faith in God? And I think genuinely some of it is, which I think in turn has really helped me to deal with it, because I'm like, well, I'm not getting rid of that, obviously. Like, and they're just, I think it happens as Christians because people know deep down what the truth is, that God is real and that Jesus is real. And I think when they're not there in their faith and they see somebody else living it out, I think that it genuinely just makes them angry, because somewhere deep down they know. But in the grand scheme of things, in terms of, you know, getting hate comments, no, they haven't really affected me. It's a very...
All right, guys. Well, audio cut out for the second half of the video, so we're back with part 2. Hopefully you enjoy. Longer sticks this time.
Longer sticks to a better conversation.
Exactly.
Is that what that means?
I think so.
Something like that.
Man. So the first, we were kind of talking about your faith and stuff like that. But I want to know you on like a deeper level. Like, I want to know. I think my first question for you is, like, obviously your dad took you to those abandoned things and like all that stuff, and that's how you got into ghost hunting. But like, what's another fond memory of your childhood that you just like enjoy, or like a day that you wish you could go back to and just experience it?
I mean, something that always comes up be like my grandpa, who, not really my grandpa, which I didn't even know. That's how awesome of a dude he was. Is he was my step grandpa. He was my mom's stepdad, and I had no clue. I literally had no idea growing up because he was just grandpa. But we would go like every summer to Muskegon, Michigan, to the beach up there, Lake Michigan, hit the lighthouse, and there's a lighthouse there, so we'd go up in it and we'd hang out and just being with him, and we'd camp out on the campground there on the dunes. And anytime I think about my childhood, that's like the first thing that comes up, because he was like the biggest role model for me besides my dad growing up, was my grandpa, and all those memories with him at the dunes and everything were just freaking awesome. Yeah, they're awesome times.
Do you remember anything specific that he like taught you, or something that you took away from just his life? I don't know.
So he had cancer, and this was when I was in 7th grade, 6th grade. I think it was right when I started 7th grade. It was like the first week of school. But he was dying, and I had overheard a conversation with my mom a week before where she was crying a lot, and she never told me what it was, but found out later that was him telling her that the doctor said he has 2 weeks to live. I had no idea. And then I didn't get to go visit him the next week because I was gone. So then he took it upon himself. I was home alone. He just pulled up to my house, which he has never once done. So I hear a knock at the door, and I remember thinking like someone's going to break into the house, like hurt me or whatever. But it was just him, and we just talked, bro, about literally everything, like The Lord of the Rings, which was his favorite movies, and I was watching him at the time, and just stuff on TV. And he was part Blackfoot Indian. So we were making up like weird Native American names for like people on TV. It was fun. But the one thing that he said that I'll never forget is I told him that I cried at the end of The Lord of the Rings, and he said it's okay to have emotions as a man. And that literally changed my entire life, like genuinely, because up until that point, like I was under the assumption that like I was supposed to be like stone cold, no emotion ever, like nothing could leak out of like me emotionally. But after he said that, like something clicked, and it just like freed my mind almost. And I think that's what's made me, or it definitely is what's made me who I am today, is being a little bit vulnerable and being okay with like having emotions and not just being so stiff for the sake of literally nothing. So that's the one thing that I took away from him that was super important.
So thinking about like back on him telling you that, do you think that affected like your YouTube too? Because you almost like felt like if you showed more emotion to YouTube in your videos, that like changed your perspective and how you looked on YouTube?
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for him telling me that, I don't know if I'd be so like open, because to be on camera like that and like to have a personality on YouTube or on TV or whatever it is, you have to be like okay being yourself. And I think it would have been a lot harder for me to be myself if it wasn't for him telling me just like you can have emotions. He wasn't saying like you can cry, he was just saying like it's okay to like be who you are and show when you're happy, when you're upset, or when something's stressing you out, and like be open about it. And yeah, I think if he never told me that, I don't know if YouTube would have gone the same way that it has. Yeah.
Right. Did you ever take any family members on the videos with you besides your brother?
Yeah, my sister's been on a few times.
Has she?
She really likes it. I used to do live streams. I still do, but not as much anymore. But she would always begs to go live with me. Yeah, I started taking her on videos because I was like, man, me and my brother, because we started off together, I was like, we go all the time, and we're just like leaving my sister out of it. I felt horrible, dude. I was like, shit. But yeah, so she comes with me a few times. Occasionally she'll be in videos, and same with Noah. Like he's still in videos with me all the time, even though he's not on the channel. It's like almost every video he's with me still.
Yeah.
So
do you or not do you, but when you first brought up the idea before you posted your first ever video and you like brought it up to your family, what did they think about it?
I don't think there was anything negative at all. I think it was literally just like, oh cool, like that makes sense because Noah and I loved ghost hunting. We've done it for so long. And yeah, that's what I meant when we previously, I don't know if it was in the first half where we had audio, but they have always been nothing but supportive, no matter what. There's been a few times where obviously they've asked questions, but that's literally it. Like there's never been a moment of don't do this, or what's your backup plan, or like you have to go get a job right now. Like it was always, they just trusted us. Like when we went full time, they just trusted that we knew what was up. And without that, I would also not be where I'm at.
Right.
So yeah, nothing negative from them ever. Just all good. Yeah.
That's great.
You said your dad's very important to you.
Yeah.
Is there any specific lessons or things that he's told you that have really stuck with you and really like nailed home,
I think I take after my dad in a lot of ways, and I think some of the biggest takeaways, it's nothing like specific. It's just like he's really led by example. not really by like directly saying something like what my grandpa did. It's just always been like, for example, he does a lot of stuff for people, and he's got a problem with like never saying no to anybody. So he's always like volunteering for this thing, or like leading this, or being the vice president on this board in my town, or like doing this, or the president in the board. He's a part.
We're rolling.
Dude, my back is so sweaty.
We're rolling
Look at the
again.
big ass sweat stain.
Wait, show the camera. Show the camera.
We've been talking, bro. Check that out.
Oh my goodness. Sweat stains of doom. Okay, y'all. So the video keeps cutting out. Obviously, the devil does not want us to talk, but here we are. We're gonna stand on business. We're not gonna allow him to ruin what God has.
Nope, we gotta lock in. It's gonna happen.
Man, we talked about a lot, but y'all didn't hear it.
The
Third
Odyssey,
round.
Spider-Man, Star Wars.
Dude, we talked about everything.
Damn.
Okay.
Even the rapid fire questions we missed too.
Where do you want to pick up? So
Are you gonna do the same thing, or are you gonna go like a different route and just naturally let it
let's just let it flow.
bet?
When did you come to Christ? Like, when did you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior?
Officially, May 22nd, 2011 is when I got baptized.
Yeah.
But again, I grew up going to church my whole life, and I always like, especially as a kid, there was never any instance of like doubting until after I was baptized. That's when my uncle RJ, who I love so much, RJ's freaking awesome, but he is an atheist, but he's always like very respectful about it. So,
Yeah.
and I like having conversations with people who don't agree with me at all. I think it's so much fun, and we would always talk about like atheism, and he would ask questions about like religion and like questioning what the Trinity means, because that didn't make any sense to him, and I would try to answer it. And I think it's just interesting because I did give my life to Jesus officially in 2011 when I was 10 years old, and then after that is when all like the debates came and the questioning. But yeah, talking with RJ, like, that's when I was mentioning on our previous conversation that I was like not atheist, but I was like open to it. You know what I mean? Like I was open to his arguments, because I always want to be open to everyone's arguments. And then I think it just strengthened my faith, because then I have to like come back at like, you go so far the one way towards atheism, and now it's like, okay, now you have to like fight your way back.
Yeah.
And so it made me stronger in my faith. But yeah, I came to Christ when I was 10
That's
officially.
Yeah. What would you say is like the hardest thing for people to like grasp, or like the hardest part about giving your life to Christ? What do you think is the hardest part for people to just take that step?
That's preventing them from giving their life.
Preventing them from giving their life to Christ.
I think it's usually like fear, right? I think it's like people, they're scared of the commitment. A lot of people are scared of commitment in general, like,
Yeah.
work or relationship wise, and that goes for Jesus. I think they know it's a big commitment, and I think finding a church is difficult. Like opening your Bible is difficult. I think I don't think it's one thing. I think there's so many roadblocks to giving your life truly to Jesus. It's like we were talking about the Odyssey. In the Odyssey, Odysseus took how many years just to finally be like, all right, bet, I give up. You know what I mean? Like, just figure it out for me, God. Like, I give up. It took him, 20 years, right? 20 years to do it. So I think
7 years on that island with that girl.
Yeah, and I think it takes people so. It's a big step to take.
Yeah.
To just give up, especially when you care so much about certain aspects of your life, like my career. If I give it to God, which I have to be aware that He could take it away any second.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's going to blow up and I'm going to become a millionaire. It means that I gave it to Him so He could take it away from me any day.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do about it.
Could you periodically check that?
Huh?
Could you periodically check the camera?
I don't care. We both can aim.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, and I think for people, like, it's hard for them to grasp like the fact that you're giving up control. You're giving up your ability to, because maybe you feel an incline to do something.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard, it's hard to give up control and be like, yeah, okay, God's putting in this on my heart, I'm gonna do it. Like, even for me, sometimes I find myself like, there's some times where I'm walking on the street, or like walking, in church or whatever, and there's like, I'll get like this feeling where it's like, I should talk to this person, or I should pray for them. And it's hard. It's hard to just walk up to someone and be like,
Yeah, it is.
God told me you.
And dude, that's something that nobody talks about really, about giving your life to Jesus truly, is you get those like moments constantly where like I'll be at a gas station, I see somebody and God's like calling me like go do something for them. Like do, even if it's just like a silent prayer in my head, like I'm gonna pray over that person. But a lot of like, you know, you see it happens now where there's like people, like homeless people on the street, and I just feel a calling, like I need to go talk to them, I need to give them something. And it's hard because if you give your life to God truly, you have to like, first of all, you have to discern what's God and what's your own mind. But then if it is God, you got to listen to him. And it's a scary thing to just do what essentially this voice in your head is telling you to do all the time. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Good. All right.
Yeah, dude, like, I got that today at church, actually. But, yeah, dude, it was that one guy walking up to the altar. He's, like, stumbling, you know what I'm talking about?
Can I tell you something?
What?
I got that too. And I'm pretty sure that dude has been shot. That's why he has that limp.
Really?
But I didn't. Yo, I gotta repent for something. I didn't listen to the Holy Spirit's inclination to go pray for this dude. And I feel terrible about it now. Like, I feel horrible. Like, I should have. Because one of the spiritual giftings I have is healing.
Really?
Yeah. I prayed for my mom and her, like, various, like, you know, just ailments that she deals with. And one of them was healed, like, her back and stuff like that. And just random stuff like that. And I felt the inclination and I didn't take it. And so I'd like to repent to God about that.
Yeah, dude, that's the same.
That's what the
Same with
conversation's
me,
for,
dude.
yeah.
Like, I saw him like walking up to the altar, and I was like, man, like in my heart, someone's telling me like I feel like I should go up and pray with that guy. Like I don't mind not know what to say, but being there, I think anything could just help him. And I just stood there and did nothing. Watched him walk up and watched somebody else pray for him.
Sometimes it's like you're a deer in headlights. Like you just.
Dude, that's exactly what it was. I was just
that's
like,
what I felt.
Like you know that you're supposed to, but you're just like, yeah.
Like I was just like stood there looking. I was like,
Yeah, I mean, it's scary. And think about somebody who hasn't, like, think about somebody who's not as strong in their faith as, like, we are currently. It's even harder for them. Like, it's even harder for them to be like, yep, I give up. Or, you know, like, again, you give your life to Christ, you're giving up in complete control over your own life. And that is so scary, bro.
Because it's like you don't know the next steps.
No, you don't.
But it's like even for me, like I'm chronic overthinker. I overthink everything I do.
Yeah, same,
Next
same.
step,
yep.
20 steps ahead, like. But it's being able to have peace and freedom and knowing that, like, God is already there. God's there on your behalf. And he knows what's going to happen next. He knows what's going to happen 4 steps from now. And it's like, and that's one thing that I also struggle with is some shame of, like, my last steps, you know? But it's like, my pastor always told me, like, the devil can't change the future. That's why he uses the present to bring up our past, because he can only dabble in our past. He doesn't know the future. He doesn't know what God has for us. That's why he brings up the past, so he keeps us there.
Yeah.
That's why we experience shame, guilt, stuff like that. Because it's like, that's straight from the devil. That's him trying to keep us in this little box that he has for us, you know, in the past, and in those shitty feelings. But
Dude, you know one guy who I really love, who I think is really good about answering those like thoughts that we were just talking about? Bryce Crawford.
100%.
He goes out on the streets and like I think he gets that exact feeling we're talking about, but he just answers like every single one of them. Like I've seen so many clips of him and just going to pray for people and like healing them and like knowing their past. Like I saw one TikTok, he went up to this dude and like I think his brother like got shot and died or something. Somehow he knew. Like he just went up to him and I think that he had that exact thought and I think he just answers all of them. And look how many great things he's done in the world. Like I think answering them is something super like important to try and start doing.
And what's interesting too, though, is like if you hear Bryce talk, he always talks about how scary that is. And like there was one, he went to Salem, Massachusetts, and he went to this satanic temple, and he said he felt the Lord calling him inside to pray over the items and the people inside. And he said it was like the most scared he's ever been because he had no idea. Like, you know, you're going into literally the enemy's temple. Like, genuinely the epitome of the opposite of, like, Christianity. But he did it. He did it anyways.
Yeah, I think it's super powerful what he does.
Yeah.
And I think he just answers to every single one of those thoughts. Like, I'm sure he's had some that he hasn't, but most of them. He just answers everyone.
He's very good at it. Yeah.
Follows what Christ is telling him to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as Christ followers, I think we do need to be more diligent about just, and even just speaking for myself, like take the log out of my own eye first. But I think for me, I think what I've noticed is like, just be bold about your faith. Be rooted in what you believe. Like, don't be ashamed about the fact that you're just so on fire for Jesus Christ, and maybe others don't understand it, but like they don't have to. Jesus knows your heart. He knows your next step. So it's like you just get to walk in freedom. You get to be you and just like spread the love of Jesus Christ to other people, and not like don't be the deer in headlights.
Yeah, I genuinely I experienced that a lot. Even with doing this, like I know we're going to talk about Jesus, and I know that this is going to go on your guys' platforms and mine, and there's going to be a lot of people that see this that don't agree with me. Maybe people I look up to, they're not going to want to do things with me anymore, or people that I want to work with, maybe they're not going to anymore because I've expressed my faith so openly. But I can't let that stop me. You know what I mean? Because then I'm not living like Jesus. I'm literally denying him at the moment where he needs me the most, and where he needs me to be true to him the most. And earlier this year, there was an example of I expressed my faith, and it was actually in relation to Charlie, and I just expressed how openly, like, number one, how horrible it was, but number two, how it genuinely, like, kind of spiritually awoke me again, and I lost major opportunities for me in my career because of it. And I was like weird about it for like a day. I was like, oh, like this really sucks. Like Lord, this is how like I get, repaid for being open about my love for you. But at the end of the day, I realized like that's exactly what I'm supposed to do. And if it makes me, if I lose opportunities or I lose friends or whatever it is because of it, then who cares? Because I'm not going to be the guy to deny Jesus the minute he comes up. You know what I mean?
You don't want to be like Peter.
Exactly.
Denying him 3 times, and then the rooster crows, and then you're a deer in headlights again.
Exactly.
What has been the biggest struggle about like your faith and having a YouTube channel and having people that like might not agree with you?
I think it's exactly what I was just saying. Like, I've made posts about. I do it obviously all the time. I'll post, even just the thing that's like, I'm blessed for the life I have, like God is good. Even something just as simple as that. And people will not talk to me again over it. And I've lost like potential people that, like, the example I was talking about was somebody that I was supposed to collab with, and this person has a massive platform and connections to multiple people that I've looked up to for years now. And obviously this would open up many doors for me and everything. But because I said something about my beliefs and about Jesus, this person decided they weren't going to work with me anymore. And it completely shut down that entire 10 doorways that were about to open for me because I spoke about my faith. And that's another thing. It's difficult, bro. It's really hard. But I would rather just be honest about who I am, about my faith, and like you said, be on fire for Jesus than just give in to worldly desires and abandon Jesus.
Yeah, and I mean, even sometimes like talking about like the Odyssey and what I learned from that movie, like of just the fact that like you can do everything right, you can take all the right steps and put all forth your 110% effort, but like sometimes you just fail and you lose. And there's sometimes where I fail and I lose and I'm so angry at God. But it's like just the fact that I was diligent enough to just like take the steps, even though the steps I didn't end up where I wanted to be, or I lost, or whatever may have you, But just being able to recognize that like if I'm rooted in God, then I never lost. Then the journey was just the reward.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I mean by like, we both mentioned this earlier, but like giving your life to Jesus doesn't, like, we're like, oh yeah, we're happier and stuff, but like you said, he gives you broader shoulders to carry that burden, the burdens of the world, but the burdens of the world don't stop. In fact, like genuinely, there's parts of the Bible where people give their life to God and their life gets harder.
Yeah.
Like, they might be more joyous, because they have the Holy Spirit and God and their belief and their faith, but their life is harder. And I think that's one thing that people don't understand is like, when I say like I'm so happy and I'm so joy, it's because of my faith, and it's because I know that there's something awaiting for me after death. I know that Jesus is walking with me every step of the way, like he's here with us currently, and that's all great. But my life itself doesn't get it's not like I have less bad days. In fact, it's like in a lot of ways like losing major opportunities like that. If I wasn't a Christian, I would have had that opportunity. You know what I mean? And I would have had all those doors open for me, and it could have exponentially helped my career in many different ways. But because of my faith, that's shut down. So in a lot of ways, my life has gotten harder, but I'm still joyous because I have the Lord.
Yeah.
And I know if I don't turn my back on him, he's not going to turn his back on me. Mm-hmm. And that's another, it's also like, for me, in my situation, it's almost like duty. Not to say that like I'm better because I did the right thing or something, but I'm just saying like I told you that I have this like weird kind of deal with God where it's like, thank you for this platform, I will use it for your good. Mm-hmm. So if I abandon him in that moment, I know that he's going to turn around and I'm not gonna get to where I can possibly go because I'm turning my back on him. Mm-hmm. So it's just this weird, it's just a hard line to walk, and a lot of people don't realize like it's not always like rainbows and unicorns. It's oftentimes the opposite.
It's not. And I feel like if you are truly rooted in Jesus and what he's called you to do, then God will rip you apart from the inside out. Like society, you look at it, they judge you from the outside, and then, you know, because it's like you can't really see the inside of someone unless you talk to them. But it's like people just don't really talk, and they don't really try to get to know you, and they don't really try. So it's like they'll judge you based on things you see, but God judges you for what's on the inside. And there are some times where I'm sitting with God and he's ripping me apart from the inside out, and he's exposing things that I hate, and it's horrible, and it sucks, and it hurts, but it's like there's so much freedom in that, because it's like I know he's strengthening me. I know, like, you know, the idea of I don't pray for less because I know that he's going to broaden my shoulders. He's going to give me the strength to endure. He's going to give me the resilience to keep going, even if it's hard, even if it's difficult, because it oftentimes is. Because if you're truly rooted in God, we are so unlike God, but it's like, make me more like Jesus Christ. And making you more like Jesus Christ is weeding out the bad things and replacing them with the fruits of the Spirit, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, with that quote we heard earlier, what you wrote down on your phone, I think, what was it? It goes like, what God teaches you can be tested at any time. Like
Pastor said that?
That hit deep. Like when you really think about that, and I think that goes along with what you were just saying pretty well. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's like what he's equipped you with, he has, you know, he's going to test you. That's how life is.
Exactly.
And I think without a test in life, you have no testimony. You have no, you know, it's not always
you got nothing to speak on.
Yeah, and it's not always I climbed Mount Everest, you know, like my problems were a million things. Sometimes it's just like I got this little hole I dug.
Yeah, and like I feel like when people go through hard things who are Christ followers in life, sometimes, like often, they blame everything on him. They're like, Christ, why would you put this in my life? Why would you do this to me, you know? But like at the end of the day, I think it's him either from that quote testing you or just building you as a character to lead to that success you have in the future.
Yeah, think about even the Odyssey, dude. Odysseus doesn't have a story. There's no interesting movie or interesting story and book that was originally written if Odysseus didn't go through all those different trials with, you know, defying the gods and with the sirens and with the Cyclops and Circe and everything.
Having to accept that his men were going to die no matter what, and he was the only one to make it home.
He went through hard stuff, and that's what made it a good story.
Even when he was talking to Athena, when they were on the sun god and they had eaten the cow, and she's like, why do you feel responsible for these men? He's like, because I lead them.
Yeah.
Like, just the fact that he just had to accept.
Yep.
And it wasn't him. It's not always on you, you know?
Exactly. Another thing, too, this just dawned on me while you were talking earlier is you're mentioning, you know, just like the trials and tribulations that God brings you through. It's a lot like the gym. Like we met at the gym. We love going to the gym. Like I was saying in the previous conversation that it has helped my mental state like more than I can possibly fathom. from my mental state in like middle school to now, and my confidence from middle school to now. It has helped in every single way, but it's not easy. It's freaking hard. Like, you have to push yourself. You have to get in there every day. You have to, fix your entire diet. Like, you have to lock in and work extraordinarily hard, and you're doing things that are difficult, and like you're in pain, and you know what I mean? But it's for the betterment of yourself. Like,
and you even think about it, the weights don't get any lighter.
No.
They're the same 40 pounds that you lifted. You just get stronger, and then you'll move up to the 50 pounds, and then you'll move up, and it's just it's like life. It's a process.
Yeah.
You just the weight doesn't get any easier. The things that you go through in life don't get any easier. God will give you the strength that you need to endure.
exactly.
And the resilience you need to keep powering through. Like, it's hard sometimes. It really is.
Yeah.
But, man, I love Jesus. He's awesome. Like, even though, like, sometimes it just sucks. And there are some times where even I have my Job moment where I'm just mad and screaming at God and, like, just angry. God sees right where you are. God sees where you are. He wants to meet you right where you are. He wants to love you in that valley. His love is unconditional. So it's like being able to accept the fact that, like, you might be in a shitty spot, but Jesus loves you in that spot. He loves you enough to sit with you there. He loves you enough to give you the strength to endure and overcome. And the next time you experience something like that, you're going to have the strength to get through it, because it's like God equipped you once, he's going to do it again.
Yep. Exactly. Just a heads up so you guys know, this is now red. So it's not dead yet, but it's going to die.
It's gonna die.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Cool. I don't really have much. You got anything else to say?
What's a quote from, like, a pastor that, like, really stuck with you, really sunk in?
Oh, man. I have to think for a minute here. Dude, I don't know. That's such a good question. Damn, bro.
For me, like, one thing that my pastor told me that really, really stuck with me was the fact that, like, as Christ followers, we aren't fighting for victory. Jesus already went to the cross, died on the cross, rose again 3 days later, conquered sin and death. So we're not fighting for a victory. We're fighting from a place of victory. So being able to have freedom and knowing that, like, anything you do, God is already victorious over. So there's no...
That's yeah. I think it's not really a quote. It's more of like an overarching lesson that I've learned, and that has really stuck with me today. With, like, it's the reason that I want to have a platform to speak about God, is just that we're here, kind of like what you said. Actually, now that I think about it, not to win anything, but to just build His kingdom, to bring more people in, to show His love to as many people as possible through us and through our works and through what we do, and that we're not here to, like, what I was talking about earlier, make some perfect society. We're just here to bring as many people to Jesus as we possibly can, and that's it. And I think that has given me so much purpose in my life. The fact that I don't have to do anything crazy. I just need to share my love for Jesus and never abandon Him, and help people live that better and more joyous life through Him. And I think that's the entire reason why I want to have this, like, platform where, yes, I'm, like, ghost hunting, I'm, like, having fun, and, like, it's fun, but I truly want to show my faith through how I act, how I treat others, the way I come across my videos, the things I post. I want people to know that I'm a lover and a follower of Jesus, and maybe that will influence people to do the same, and then therefore build His kingdom.
And what would you say to people that have experienced that church hurt, that have experienced, like, maybe someone that would claim to be a Christian, but, like, they're the most judgmental person you've seen, like, they've met, you know? Someone that, like, deterred them away from knowing Jesus.
Well, I would say I've been through it. Like, my family, I'm not going to go too far in depth. I'll let, like, if you get Noah on here, maybe he'll talk about it. But Noah went through something with our church that is like beyond any imagination that you, or anything you could possibly fathom. Something so horrendous that happened to him from somebody he loved at church, and it did ruin it for him for quite a long time. Like, he was angry at God, obviously, and can't fault him for that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got you. Can't fault him for that. And but over time, you know, once he accepted what happened and built from it and grew, and I think that's another. So, like, the channel didn't work out for me and Noah together. We ended up doing our own separate things. But I think a big part of a big reason that God allowed us to do it together for so long was so almost that I could bring him back from that moment, because he was in a dark place. And I think because of my faith, it brought him back from that, because he did experience the church hurt on the worst level imaginable. And now he's back, and now his faith has grown even stronger. And I think that goes to show that, like, God can overcome the church hurt. In fact, the church hurt isn't from him whatsoever. It's from people. Like, people aren't perfect, and Christians aren't perfect either. And a lot of people, I think that they assume that Christians are supposed to be perfect, and that's not the case. We're aspiring to be that, but we're still human. We can't be. That's why we follow Jesus. That's why he says, be more like me, because he was perfect as God and human flesh. But I think overall, if you've experienced church hurt, I would just say trust in the Lord, and remember that people aren't gods. People are people. And nothing in this world is perfect. I think, I know I mentioned this like a million times, I actually believe that's the most important thing for anybody on the planet to understand, is that people are not perfect, and they never will be. Society will never be perfect. Nothing will be perfect. And accepting that brings so much joy, because you no longer have this unreasonable expectation on people. Because that's what causes church hurt, is unreasonable expectations of how people are supposed to act. And the second that anything to the contrary happens, you just completely abandon God, when it had nothing to do with God. It had to do with people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Like, obviously, like, we live in a very sin-cursed world, and you know, nothing is perfect. I'm rude sometimes. I get mad really easily. I experience things I do things that, you know, I wouldn't necessarily, I look back on and I have regrets, you know, but it's like, that's why we need Jesus. That's why he died on the cross for our sins. That's why it seems very simple, but it's definitely hard sometimes to accept that, like, you know, because it's like, even as people, like, we want to be the best version of ourselves. We're all trying. And I think that's one thing that people need to accept, is the fact that it's easy to judge someone else, but, like, you think about it, maybe they're just trying their best. And maybe their best isn't, like, to your standard, but they're just trying their best.
I think that's why it's important, though, to be realistic in our expectations of faith and of Jesus, and what we were saying earlier, which is that just because you're a Christian doesn't mean your life's going to get any easier. Like, you're still going to go through hard things. Because I think so many people, like pastors specifically, or people on podcasts or whatever it is talking, they a lot of times they'll talk as if, like, oh, if you just come to the faith, like, your life will be perfect, like, there'll be no problems, like, it's going to be freaking awesome, because they're like acting like a salesman, and they have to say all the good things and none of the bad. I think it's important for us to be realistic and be like, yeah, your life's not going to get easier, but you in your soul will be more joyous. And that way people don't have an unreasonable, because I think Christians have kind of done it I think we've done it to ourselves. I think as Christ followers, we're trying to get people to, like, you know, believe in Jesus and come over to the faith. And I think we set unreasonable expectations, and then the second that's broken, they're like, yo, what the hell? Like, you told me it was going to be great, and, like, you know, whatever it is, like, somebody at church was mean to me, or my mom just died, like, whatever it is, and they're like, I thought you said, like, nothing bad would happen, and you're like, well, that's not really what I meant, but you did tell them that, and now they're pissed off, and now they don't believe in Jesus, now that they left the faith. Whereas if we're just like, hey, come to the faith, put your trust in the Lord. He's going to take care of you. Your life's not going to get any easier. But like you said, you'll be able to bear the weight better. And you're going to be more joyous in your soul. And joy, by definition, doesn't mean happiness. Joy is very different. Joy...
I've always said, happiness comes from moments. That's why happiness fleets. But joy comes from our Father in heaven.
Exactly. Joy is a very different thing, and that's another problem, is that we've kind of like merged them as, oh, it's the same thing. It's not. It's not the same thing. And I think if we stop giving people unreasonable expectations of what to expect from Christians and from Jesus and from a life following Jesus, I think the amount of church hurt would go down exponentially. Because, dude, that's all I see on social media is like, well, I gave Jesus a chance and this happened, or like this thing happened. And it's like, well, we didn't promise you that wouldn't happen. You just maybe somebody promised them that, but I think we need to be realistic. For sure.
Anything? Well, we wanted to get the basic premises of that out because obviously the video keeps cutting out. But we'll do rapid fire questions again.
Bet. Let's do it.
Trying to think of
Some different ones. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
If I could be any animal, it'd definitely be some kind of like bird for sure. I wouldn't say not a bat. Bat's my favorite animal. I don't know, like what bird? Probably some type of bird so I can fly. It'd be pretty sick.
That would be cool.
It'd be sick.
That would be pretty badass.
So if I were to ask what superpower you want, would you fly? Or is this
Dude,
gonna be different?
I've always had like this weird, I don't even know what you'd call this, but imagine a superpower where anything you think about or like want or like can visualize, you have like an internal map that like leads you there. So say I'm like, I want to know where this like lost pirate treasure is, and I would just beam in my mind and it would just take me there. Or like you're looking for a person and like boom, you know exactly where, something like that. That'd be sick.
Some like ping location.
Some some ping location type beat.
You got a girlfriend, so like, what dream date with your girlfriend?
Dream date. Oh my goodness.
I think it's gonna tell a lot about a person, honestly.
She loves Italy, so I'm just like, I'm hoping that we can go to Italy like next year actually. But like, I don't know, in my mind, like going to Italy, Venice, like trying some wine, like having the food. She talks highly of Italy like every day. Like she loves it. So in my mind, Italy must be like heaven, damn near, because that's how hyped up it is in her mind. So I think going to Italy with her would be awesome.
That would be sick. You have some rapid fire.
Who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Anakin. No, maybe Anakin and Obi-Wan are close. Probably Anakin. Yeah, probably Anakin.
I'm a Darth Maul all the way.
Darth Maul. Hell yeah.
I just think he's a very complex villain, which I enjoy.
Yeah, he definitely
Like-
is.
I like characters that are very in depth. They,
Yeah.
Like, they're not like all evil. You can tell there's something.
That's why I like Anakin
Underline.
though, because it's like a lot of like his issues came from the trauma in his life. Like he's like remember I was talking about Spider-Man? Spider-Man goes through all the hard stuff and continues to be a good guy and do the right thing. Anakin went through all the trauma and decided to just like go all in. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he is a good guy. It's just he followed the trauma to its darkest end.
You can't blame him though, because like Padme was gonna die the same way his mom.
Yep, exactly. There's
so it's
nothing
like
he can do about
He wanted
it.
to stop it so bad. but
Yep,
There's only so much control you have over
Exactly.
those things.
exactly.
If you could sit down and have dinner with one person, who would that one person be?
Anyone besides Jesus Christ, because we all know we'd have.
Can they
dinner
be
with Jesus
dead?
Christ. Yeah, they can be
dead or
dead.
alive.
Abraham Lincoln.
Why is that?
100%. I'm a history nerd. Dude, I want to know what his voice sounded like so bad. People like assume that it was like deep and like, but it was actually like from what people wrote, it was like high pitched and like kind of like his voice would like crack and stuff, and it wasn't like what you'd think. So I just want to like sit down with him, hear what he has to say, hear his voice, and be like, okay, that way I'd know like what he sounded like. Then that'd be sick.
That would be cool.
Do you have a favorite actor?
Shoot. I feel like I do, but I can't. Why can't I think of who it would be? Oh, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. Love Johnny
He's a
Depp.
good actor.
Such a good actor.
Speaking of dinner, what?
I just thought it was funny.
Speaking of dinner, what would your ideal food that you'd be eating be?
Tonight? Or like in general, like
just
favorite food type?
If you had to choose one food for the rest of your life,
Yeah, that's a better way to put it, I guess.
I
one
would
food for the
do
rest.
steak, asparagus, and potatoes, like or not mashed potatoes, but like just like cut up potatoes. It's my
So
favorite.
you're trying to be Ronnie Coleman for the rest of your
I
life.
guess, I guess, bro. I guess, dude, it's just so good, dude. I have that like multiple nights a week. It's so good. I freaking
Jake
love
Bruce
steak.
frame mug for the rest of his life.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, I do not like asparagus. I won't lie. I do
Really?
not like it. Yeah.
Dude, I'd never had it ever, and I just assumed I didn't like it, and then I tried it, and I was like, oh, it's not bad. It's actually good. I dump an unbelievable amount of like salt, friggin' garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, everything on it. 'Kay, then it's good. If it's like
I might
by
like it
its,
then, yeah.
yeah, if it's by it, dude, I'll make you asparagus sometime. It's actually fire.
I'm down, bro.
It's on red, so we got to close out in prayer. But it's been fun. I appreciate you for sitting down. I appreciate for you for enduring the.
Dude, yeah,
It's kind
it-
of scuffed.
Dude, it's crazy like how many things have gone wrong. It's like actually nuts.
Those nuts, but I think it's cool how we power through it, you know? You stayed
Yeah.
for 3 rounds of this,
Yeah.
and we still have
It's
stuff
been
to talk
great
about.
conversation.
Dude,
Yeah,
I loved it's so hard to find people like our age that are like cool with talking and not just like surface level like
Oh, it died.
yeah it just it died.
Oh, no.
How did it die so quick? What the
Is yours still red?
Oh no, it's red. It's red. It's red.
No, mine's red
We're
too.
good, we're
yeah,
good.
we're good. We got probably a few minutes, but yeah, go ahead and pray.
No, it's okay. Continue. We got it.
I was gonna say it's hard to find people our age that like are cool with having deep conversations
Yeah,
and
100%.
aren't just like, "Were you ready for GTA 6?" or like you know
my
what I mean?
my encouragement to the viewers: have more conversation with people. Just
Yeah.
know that everyone else's life is divine as yours. Like they are just as special in God's eyes as yours. And think about it. Even if you don't believe in God, they're just as special as you. They're just as they're intricately made as you. So just love on people. Love your neighbor as yourself.
And have these conversations in person, like face to face, because it's so much different, like so much more meaningful and powerful face to face instead of texting somebody, using your fingers on your phone, or calling somebody. Like, yeah, you get to hear their voice, but it's nothing like seeing their eyes. It's just straight conversation face to face. So
Yeah, reading exactly what they are thinking and feeling like by looking at them. You know what I mean? Yeah, very different.
All right. Dude, just thank you for this day. Thank you for the time that we can spend with Jake Bruce, Lord. I pray that you would just continue to keep him safe, Lord. Guide his steps. Continue to allow him to prosper, Lord. I thank you for the opportunity to just have a conversation with people, Lord, and how awesome it is to just get to know someone else other than yourself, their perspectives, their understandings, and their life experience, Lord. You gain so much from just knowing someone. And I thank you for the opportunity is to know you, Lord. The opportunity is to just be loved by you, Lord. I thank you for what you've done for us on the cross. I pray for anyone out there that's interested, or anyone out there that might have small inclination to follow you, Lord. I pray that you would just touch their heart, be near to them, show them your presence, Lord. And I pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, y'all. Well, that was Jake Bruce. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. The next episode we'll be on with my pastor, so I'm excited for that one. But hope you enjoyed this. Love Jesus, love others, talk to someone, just have a conversation.
100%.
Peace.
Peace.